You are a ghost in a beige world. You hold a PhD and contributed to Nobel Prize research, yet you spend your days teaching high schoolers who stare at their phones. After the bell rings, you scrub tires at a car wash to make ends meet. You are overqualified, underpaid, and invisible. Then comes the cough, the blood, the diagnosis. Stage 3, A lung cancer. The clock is ticking. You run the numbers. To leave your family solvent, you need exactly $737,000. You don't have a savings account. You have a chemistry degree. You decide to go bad. You liquidate your life savings to buy a rolling laboratory, a decrepit RV. You drive deep into the desert, where the only witnesses are the cacti and the silence. To the law, this is a felony. To you, it is simply chemistry. You set up the glassware. You don't just mix ingredients. You orchestrate a reaction. You watch the liquid bubble and change color, stripping away the impurities, atom by atom. It is a delicate dance of temperature and pressure. You treat the process with respect, and the chemistry rewards you. When the smoke clears, you hold up the result to the light. The current market standard is trash. Yours is different. It is pure crystal, transparent, blue. It looks like glass. You realize that cooking is too easy for you. You have the supply, but you need a salesman. You track down a former student, a low-level user. You toss him the bag of blue glass. You have the product. He has the street. The experiment has begun. You have the purest product on the market, but your business model is flawed. Selling small packets on street corners is high risk, low reward. You need volume. You need a wholesale distributor. You find the local kingpin. He is violent, erratic, and addicted to his own supply. He beats your partner unconscious and steals your first batch. A rational man would quit. You go back to the lab. You realize that in an unregulated market, violence is the only leverage. You don't buy a gun, you synthesize mercury fulminate. It is a primary explosive, highly unstable, yet you crystallize it to look exactly like your blue product. It is a chemical bluff. You walk into the kingpin's headquarters. He is surrounded by armed guards. He laughs at you. You demand payment. When he refuses, you pick up a single crystal, no bigger than a bean, and throw it violently against the floor. The concussion blows out the windows on the second floor. The ceiling collapses. Ears ring. Dust fills the air. You stand amidst the rubble, holding the rest of the bag over your head. It is enough to level the entire building. This is mutually assured destruction. The kingpin looks at you with fear. He hands you $50,000 in cash. You walk out. You put on a black hat and sunglasses. You are no longer just a cook. You have a name now. Your product is a phenomenon, but your supply chain is broken. Buying cold medicine from drugstores is slow, inefficient, and gets you flagged by the feds. This is a bottleneck. You cannot build an empire on blister packs. To scale up, you must change the chemistry. You switch to reductive amination. You replace the over-the-counter ingredients with methylamine, an industrial chemical used in pesticides and solvents. It comes in 50-gallon drums. This removes the ceiling on your production. You are no longer cooking, you are manufacturing. Your efficiency attracts a quiet corporate investor. He offers you $3 million for 3 months of your time. You accept. You trade the dirty RV for a pristine underground superlab, stainless steel vats, high-performance air filtration, laminar flow hoods. It is a chemist's dream. You clock in, you synthesize 200 pounds a week, and you clock out. But you soon realize the danger of the corporate world. The boss assigns you a brilliant assistant who watches your every move. He takes notes on your temperatures, your reaction times. You realize he isn't there to help you. He is there to reverse engineer your process. Once he learns the formula, you become redundant. And in this business, redundancy means death. You have to make a choice. Be a good employee and die, or sabotage the operation to survive. You choose survival. The corporate boss decides you are a liability. He threatens to kill your entire family, your wife, your son, your infant daughter. You are under 24-hour surveillance. You cannot run, and you cannot get close to him. He is surrounded by armed guards, but even a king has to travel. You track his routine. You realize his armored vehicle is his fortress, but it is also a cage. You retreat to your kitchen table. You don't need a high-tech lab. You need hardware store physics. You construct an improvised explosive device. You use a galvanized steel pipe to contain the pressure. You fill it with a homemade explosive mixture. You wire a simple radio frequency receiver, stripped from a toy car, to a blasting cap. This is your remote trigger. Finally, you attach high-strength neodymium magnets to the casing. You wait for him to visit a local hospital. While his guards are distracted, you slide under his vehicle. You attach the device to the frame directly beneath the passenger seat. The placement is crucial. You need the explosion to breach the armored chassis. He steps into the car. You are watching from a rooftop across the street. You press the button on the remote. The circuit closes. The spark ignites. The thermal expansion tears through the floorboard. The shockwave is contained inside the cabin. It is a surgical strike. The CEO is gone. The corporate structure is decapitated. You call your wife. I won. You are no longer an employee. You are the king. But a king needs resources. Your industrial process requires methylamine, a tracked precursor. You cannot buy it. You must steal it. You identify a freight train carrying 24,000 gallons through a dead zone. You cannot stop the train without alerting the authorities, so you engineer a heist based on fluid dynamics. You bury 2 tanks underground, one empty, one filled with water. As the train stops, you connect the hoses. You pump 1,000 gallons of methylamine out while simultaneously pumping water in. You calculate the density differential. The volume changes, but the weight on the train's sensors remains consistent. You steal the chemical without triggering a single alarm. You now possess enough precursor to cook $300 million worth of product. Now, you have a new problem: cash flow. You are generating money faster than you can spend it. You purchase a cash-heavy business, a car wash, to clean the funds. You use the placement, layering, and integration model. You fabricate invoices for deluxe detailing and hot wax to account for the drug money. But the volume is overwhelming. To deposit cash, you must avoid the $10,000 currency transaction report limit. This is called structuring. It is slow. It is tedious. You eventually give up on the banks. You rent a storage unit. You stack the bills on pallets. You are left with a physical cube of money, $80 million. It is no longer currency. It is just paperweight. You have won the game, but you are drowning in the prize. You are tired. You decide it is time to stop. Your initial goal is complete. Your family will be taken care of. You walk away from your empire. But raw cash is useless if the DEA seizes it. You need a loophole. You track down your old billionaire research partners. Through pure psychological warfare, you force them to accept your money and launder it through a legitimate, irrevocable trust. It will appear as a charitable grant to your son on his 18th birthday. The money is clean, the family is safe, the legacy is secured. You retreat into the silence, simply waiting for the cancer to finally take you. Then, the news arrives. Your signature product is still flooding the streets. A rival gang didn't just steal your territory, they kidnapped your former student. They chained him in a concrete pit, forcing him to cook your formula day and night. The wait is over. You don't go in with guns blazing, you go in as an engineer. You rig an automated heavy machine gun in the trunk of your car, synced to a simple remote key fob. You drive to their compound. You walk straight into the lion's den. You look them in the eye. You press the button. The hidden weapon roars to life, tearing through the walls and annihilating the hostile force in seconds. In the chaos, you shield your partner, but a stray bullet catches you in the abdomen. The ultimate cost. You watch him drive away into the night, finally free. Bleeding out, you walk into their makeshift lab one last time. You trace your hand over the cold stainless steel vessels. The chemistry was always perfect. You collapse onto the concrete floor. The wail of police sirens closes in. You look up at the ceiling, at peace.